on to 70.
Say again?
I put the heat on to 70,
Oh, good.
but
These are the ones that are cold, these two? Or they're
Yeah,
all
but
cold?
only when
Only when the
the
AC
thing is
is
on and blowing.
Oh, okay.
otherwise it's being by
you
the
have-
back
you
windows.
have that
Otherwise,
heater.
it's just as cold as before.
You have the heater here and here blowing, so. And we could probably get that heater going.
Sure.
Let's see. Did Marcia say Mike threw out his bat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Yes.
Sure.
Here, that is yours.
I invite you to turn to page 141 for Motto Boo.
Do you hear the door? Sounded like somebody just came in.
Listen, the
It's
front
more like
door.
a car door,
Ah,
I think. Someone else is arriving.
yeah.
What page?
141.
Yes, see if the string is working. Cross your fingers that the string is working. It is.
Good, all right. So we'll get started then on page 141 with Matobu. Matobu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael. Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael. Please turn to page 150 and join me in the English, our Kavanah for prayer this morning. For the sake of the union of the Blessed Holy One with the Shekhinah, I stand here ready in body and mind to take upon myself the mitzvah. You shall love your fellow human being as yourself. And by this merit, may I open up my mouth. Please turn to page 153 for the morning blessings. We will alternate between Hebrew and English by page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Chei haolamim, Ha'ma'avir sheina me'enai, Udnuma me'apapai. Blessed are you, the provident, our God, life of all the world, who gives the bird of dawn discernment to tell day from night. Blessed are you, the fashioner, our God, life of all the world, who stretches forth the earth upon the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Chei haolamim, Bokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Chei haolamim, Malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Chei haolamim, Matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Chei haolamim, Zokev kefufim. Blessed are you, the way, our God, life of all the worlds, B'Tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Mechei ha'olamim, Shasani b'chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Mechei ha'olamim, Shasani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Mechei ha'olamim, Hanoten la'Yaakov. Please turn to page 162 for the blessing for the body. Blessed are you, the architect, our God, the sovereign of all worlds, who shaped the human being with wisdom, making for us all the openings and vessels of the body. It is revealed and known before your throne of glory that if one of these passageways be open when it should be closed, or blocked up when it should be free, one could not stay alive or stand before you. Blessed are you, miraculous, the wondrous healer of all flesh. Please turn to page 165. We give thanks for the beauty of our spirits, the holiness of our spirits, and the way that they infuse our lives with meaning. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorani. 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 Please continue silently through the end of page 167. Baruch atah Adonai, asher biyado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar. Please turn to page 175 for Psalm 30. We'll chant the fifth line from the bottom in the Hebrew and the third line from the bottom in the Hebrew, or just what appears in the transliteration. Elecha Adonai ekra, ve'el Adonai etchanan. Elecha Adonai ekra, ve'el Adonai etchanan. Shema Adonai v'choneni, Adonai ehyeh ozer li. Shema Adonai v'choneni, Adonai ehyeh ozer li. Please turn to page 177 for Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar Baruch Shemo, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Hu, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov L'Reav, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ma'avir Apelav Me'Biyorah, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hadla'ad V'Kayam Lanetzach, Baruch Hu, Baruch Modeh U'Matzil, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo. I'd like to share a poem by Julie K. I have become an observer. I watch everything. People, cars, nature, dogs who wag their tails at the mere thought of their little paws hitting pavement. I have seen how the birds do not worry about whether they will have enough for tomorrow. How butterflies float from flower to flower, gathering up goodness, never once questioning if they are worth the goldenrod. How trees endure the wildest storms and do not flinch at the thought of starting over. And how sometimes we tend to rush too much to see how blessed we are. Please turn to page 180 and join me in the blessing that introduces Psuke de Zimra, verses of praise. Blessed are you, the everlasting one, our God, the sovereign of all worlds, divine one who gave birth to all, the merciful, subject of praise upon our people's mouths, lauded and glorified upon the tongues of all who love and serve you. And through these, the songs sung by your servant David, may we hail you, source of being. With praises and with melodies, we celebrate your greatness, and we praise you, glorify you, call to mind your name, and crown you as our sovereign, God of ours, the only one, the living one throughout all worlds, the one who reigns, lauded and glorified unto the end of time, whose name is ever great. Blessed are you, the one, the sovereign, hailed in songs of praise. Please turn to page 189 for Mihaish. Might there be a person who wants life, who desires days of seeking good. Never let your tongue speak evil, nor your lips pronounce deceit. Swerve away from evil, perform good, seek peace, and follow after it. Mihaish, echafetz chaim, ohev yamim, lirotov, netzor lishon chamera, usvatecha mitaber mirma, sur meirav aseitov, bakei shalom verodfehu. Please turn to our Shabbat Psalm on page 209. Before we sing, is there anyone who'd like to share anything they're feeling grateful for this Shabbat?
I'm grateful it was warm this week. And really grateful. and both Rachel and I got really two good e-bikes, used e-bikes, and we're excited about that.
Alright. Looking forward to that time outside.
What?
Looking forward to that time outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let it be warm again.
It'll get there. Anyone else?
I'm grateful that Gavin is home for spring so far Bella's okay. Good. We just hope that her medicine is actually working.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. And Brandon is
Brandon
abroad.
is having the time of his life, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Awesome,
And I'm grateful for my husband, who is my rock.
yes. Thank you. Tov levotot l'Adonai, u'samer l'shemcha elyon, lagi b'boker chastecha, ve'emunatecha b'leilot. And please turn to page 51 or 211 for Tzadika Tamar. Tzadika Tamar Yifrach Ke'erez Lebanon Yizkeh Shetulim B'Beit Adonai B'chatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun B'Seifa D'Shenim V'Ra'ananim Yiyu Le'agid Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri V'lo Avlatavo. Please turn to page 215 for Esa Einai. Esa Einai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Esri. Esa Einai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Esri. Esri Me'im Adonai Osei Shamayim Ba'aretz. Esri Me'im Adonai Osei Shamayim Ba'aretz. Esa Einai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Esri. Esa Einai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Esri. Please turn to page 231 for Psalm 150. And we'll chant the last 3 lines in the Hebrew or the transliteration. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tzil tzalei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tzil tzalei truah. Kol hashama tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hashama tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Please turn to page 235 for Nishmat Kol Chai. We'll begin together on the first line, and then I invite you to continue silently as your spirit leads, whether it be the traditional prayer in Hebrew or English, or if there's just a particular image that catches your attention this morning and you'd like to meditate on that, or some beauty that you saw this week. We'll join back together on page 238, midway through the last paragraph. Nishmat kol chai tivarach et shemcha Adonai Eloheinu. Eloheinu Rishonim. Eloheinu Malay Shalom. Mitzrayim Yaltanu Adonai Eloheinu. Akein Evarim Shekehan Kavayim. Let all my bones declare the infinite who is like you, you who save the poor from those of greater strength, the destitute and the oppressed from their exploiters, the wail of the downtrodden you will hear, and to the cry of the unfortunate you hearken and come forth with help. Who resembles you? Who can be your equal? Who can estimate your worth? Divinity so great, so mighty, and so awesome. Supreme God, creator of the heavens and the earth. Please turn to page 241 for Shochenad. Shochenad Marom V'kadosh Shemo V'chatuv Rananu Tzadikim B'Adonai La Yesharim Navat Tehillah V'fi Yesharim Titromam Uv'divrei Tzadikim Titbarach Uv'ilshon Chasidim Tikatash Uv'kerev Kedoshim Titalal. Please turn to page 243. Uv'makalot Revivot Amcha Beit Yisrael. Lehodot, lehalel, leshabeach, lefa'er, leromem, lehader, levarech, lehalel, kales, al kol divrei shirot v'tishbachot, David ben Yishai, avdecha mishichecha, yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu. Brachot v'horaot me'atav yad olam, Baruch atah Adonai, El melech gadol v'tishbach Bocher B'Shirei Simra, Melech Elkei Ha'olamim. Please turn to page 246 for the Baruch Hu. Do we have some people online? No? Okay. So we'll just sing the Kavanah below the line on page 246 and then go right to the blessing above the line on page 247. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorech choshech, oseh shalom, uvorei et hakol. So it occurs to me that since we don't have a minyan, we're not likely to be able to do a Torah service. So I just wanted to open it up as we continue through. If there are pieces of the service that anyone has questions about or wants to discuss, that we can just pause and answer those questions or have little discussions along the way, since we won't be having the time for the Torah service. So see what you notice as we move through Shacharit. Please turn to page 248 and join me in the English. Let all beings acknowledge you, all cry praise to you, and all declare, there is none as holy as the One. Let all beings hold you in the highest reverence, you, the fashioner of all, the God who opens up each day the doors and gateways of the east, who bursts open the windows of the heaven's dome, bringing forth the sunlight from its place and moonlight from its seat of rest, providing light for the entire world and for its creatures, all of whom divinity in boundless love brought into being. Bringer of light with tender care upon the earth and its inhabitants, in goodness you renew each day perpetually, creation's wondrous work. And please continue silently on the next page. Please turn to page 253 for Eladon. And if you're using the transliteration, that's on page 255. Eladon. Oh, sorry, I just had Ha'aderet v'Ha'amuna in my head. Eladon ha'kol ha'mazim baruch u'morak b'fi kol neshama golo v'tuvo malei olam ta'tutuna sovev v'imoto. Hamikael chayot hakodesh, v'nedar b'chavod al hamerkava, zichu to mishor lifnei chiso, chesed v'rachamim lifnei chavodo. Tovim meyorot shebara Eloheinu yitzaram b'dat b'vina uvaskel koach ugvura natan ba'em liyot moshlim b'kerev tevel maleim ziv umfikim noga nai zivam b'chol ha'olam Sveichin b'tzeitam v'sasim b'voam osim b'yei maritzon konam Pe'er b'chavod notnim lishmo Tzol averina l'zecher malchuto Kara l'shemesh v'yizrach ora v'hikin surat al-lana Shevach notnim lo kol seva maharon tiferet ugedula seraphim v'yofanim v'chayot hakodesh. Please turn to page 265. If you're comfortable, I invite you to take a moment and close your eyes and call to mind someone, there's someone currently in your life or someone from the past who's brought you a sense of safety, sense of love and acceptance, and bring that sense of them into this room this morning. Who are holy beings, they are beloved, clear of mind, and courageous. Their will and God's are one. Raising their voices in constant gratitude, they marvel at every detail of life, granting each other loving permission to be exactly who they are. When we listen for their sweet voices, we can hear the echo within our own souls. Please turn to page 269 for Or Chadash. Or Chadash al Zion Ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu b'mhera le'oro. Or Chadash al Zion Ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu b'mhera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. Please turn to page 200. Oh,
I
yes,
have one question. about that.
absolutely.
Is the new light that's referenced, that sort of a messianic reference, or I was wondering what it was?
So,
Or Chadash.
yeah. So light is, if you think of the Zohar and the sparks of light from the divine, so in that sense, light is illumination and gaining clarity and knowledge and wisdom about the world. So on a certain level, it's that. From another level, from maybe a more traditional perspective, it would represent that messianic idea, the rebuilding of Jerusalem, and that's the new light that would shine upon Zion in that sense. So it kind of depends on what perspective you're coming from. I'm less comfortable with the messianic idea personally, so I tend to think of it in terms of knowledge and wisdom. Yeah,
Just wondered.
great.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can we make it warmer in here?
Sure.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I set the temperature for 70 this downstairs, it's on Ecobee. You can do it from home. Are you gonna do the heat
Yes,
from?
it should produce warm air.
That is looking, how about that? Magical.
And if it doesn't, we'll turn it back
Yeah,
on.
it'll be even colder if it doesn't. That's what you always want.
There's just so many
Right,
layers of
right,
clothing
right,
I can wear.
It didn't seem bad.
There's only so many layers I can take off in the
I
summer.
went outside this morning,
Yeah,
with like my slippers on and everything,
it was okay, yeah.
and then like an hour later, the wind.
Yeah.
The wind was,
22 miles an hour.
yeah.
You gotta let the cars float all over the
Yeah.
road. I think it's getting colder. Do you feel?
I don't think
I feel like it's blowing cold air.
it's blowing
You
something.
feel it, it's cold air?
Yes.
I don't actually know how to turn the heat on with that thing.
Is that the only, the
Oh,
vents in the?
Wait, there,
There are vents in the
you're
floor.
right.
There's like a setting,
There's a
but I don't know. Cause I know we've accidentally put it on heat at some point when it should have been air conditioning and it like blew heat all night and the next day it was like burning hot in here. It was during the summer.
Probably would be just right. Oh my word. Those few days when it was warm,
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
it
we had-
wonderful? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It was such a tease, because it's so typical March.
Yeah. Like,
mode.
You see the light swing.
Right,
so
that's what I'm
something
saying,
is
yeah.
happening. You just wonder, it's warm or cold there, that's blowing it. Liz, you're right under it, so you should be able to feel air moving.
Yeah, I know.
No.
is it warm or is it just like a fan?
Well, I think it needs new batteries. The
Okay.
display isn't showing up well.
I think we should just deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a little warmer up here.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, yeah, I remember from last time, people back by the windows were colder, so, yeah. Alrighty. We'll continue on page 272. Please join me in the English for Ahava Rabbah. Move farther and farther away from the With an abounding love, you love us, nurture our God. With great compassion, do you care for us? Our source, our sovereign, just as our ancestors placed their trust in you, and you imparted to them laws of life, so be gracious to us too and teach us. Our fount, our loving parent, caring one, be merciful with us and place into our hearts ability to understand, to see, to hear, to learn, to teach, to keep, to do, and to uphold with love all that we study of your Torah. Please turn to page 275. V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yakid levaveinu li'ahava u'yirah et shemecha, v'lo nivosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kodshecha, hagadol v'hanorah b'taknu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha. In gathering together the four corners of the Talit, we gather our scattered thoughts and focus on unity, uniting our people, uniting the disparate elements of our lives, uniting with the oneness that links all that is. pages and concluding on page 285. Adonai Elohim, please turn to page 291 for Michamocha. Michamocha ve'lim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot oseh peleh, shira chadasha she'ibhu ge'olim, leshem chal sefat hayam, yachad kulam hodu ve'im licho ve'yameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Sur Yisrael, kuma b'yezrat Yisrael, uvdechnu echad, Yehuda v'Yisrael, go aleinu, Adonai tzeva'ot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Please turn to page 295 for the Amidah. We will join together in the first two sections, and then I'll invite you to continue silently. Since we don't have a minion this morning, one would do 301 silently and then skip on to page 307 if you're saying the traditional prayer. And of course, feel free to use the time as you need this morning. Adonai sefatai tiftachu v'yagi tehilatecha. Open my lips, beloved one, and let my mouth declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, gula livnei b'neihem, leman shemo b'ya'ava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Lilam Adonai, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umarid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'chesed, Mechaye Kol Chai Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Geburot, Umidom Elach, Melech Meimit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Beneman Atah Chayo Kol Chai, Baruch Atah Adonai, Bechaye Kol Chai. portion, Bayal El Pekude. The first one of the two begins on 552.
552 or 62?
552.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and take turns reading. The first, like 29 verses, actually. So, people can take turns with paragraphs or something if that's all right. And we can just go around the room. So starting on page 552, chapter 35, verse 1. Does anyone want to start? And then we can just kind of meander around?
I'll go.
Okay.
Moses then convoked the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things that the Lord has commanded you to do. On 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death."
And continue through verse 3 on the top of the next.
You shall kindle no fire throughout your settlements on the Sabbath day.
And then if someone could pick up at verse 4.
Moses said further to the whole community of Israelites, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Take from among you gifts to the Lord. Everyone whose heart so moves him shall bring them. Gifts for the Lord, gold, silver, and copper, blue, purple, and crimson yarns, fine linen, and goat's hair, tanned ram skins, dolphin skins, and acacia wood, oil for lighting, spices for the anointing oil, and for the aromatic incense, lapis, lazuli, and other stones for setting for the ephod and the breastpiece. And let all among you who are skilled come and make all that the Lord has commanded: the tabernacle, its tent, and its coverings, its clasps and its planks, its bars, its posts, and its sockets, the ark and its poles, the cover and the curtain for the screen, the table and its poles, and all its utensils, and the bread of display, the lampstand for lighting, its furnishings in crimson yarns and in fine linen. And all the women who are...
These are
No,
554.
554.
Yeah.
uh,
Lampstand for lighting its furnishings and its
and
lamps.
its lamps, and the oil for lighting, the altar of incense and its poles, the anointing oil and the aromatic incense, and the entrance screen for the entrance of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offering, its copper grating, its poles, and all its furnishings, the laver, and its stand, the hangings of the enclosure, its posts and its sockets, and the screen for the gate of the court, the pegs for the tabernacle, the pegs for the enclosure and their cords, the service vestments for officiating in the sanctuary, the sacral vestments of Aaron and the priest, and the vestments of his sons for priestly service.
Someone else want?
So the whole community of Israelites left Moses' presence, and everyone who excelled in ability and everyone whose spirit moved him came, bringing to the Lord his offering for the work of the tent of meetings, and for all its service, and for the sacral vestments, men and women, all whose hearts moved them, all who would make an elevation offering of gold to the Lord, came bringing brooches, earrings, rings, and pendants, gold objects of all kinds. Everyone who had in his possession blue, purple, and crimson yarn, fine linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, and dolphin skins brought them. Everyone who would make gifts of silver and copper brought them as gifts for the Lord. And everyone who had in his possession acacia wood, for any work of the surface, brought that. All the skilled women spun with their own hands, and brought what they had spun in blue, purple, crimson yarn, and fine linen. And all the women who excelled in that skill spun the goat's hair. And the chieftains brought lapis lazuli and other stones for setting, for the ephod, and for the breastpiece, and spices and oil for lighting, and for the anointing oil, and for the aromatic incense. Thus the Israelites, all the men and women whose heart moved them to bring anything for the work that the Lord, through Moses, had commanded to be done, brought it as a free will offering to the Lord.
And why doesn't someone just do 30 through 34?
And Moses said to the Israelites, "See, the Lord has singled out by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. He has endowed him with a divine spirit of skill, ability, and knowledge in every kind of craft, and has inspired him to make designs, to work in gold, silver, and copper, to cut stones for setting, and to carve wood, to work in every kind of designer's craft, and to give directions. He and Oholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, have been endowed with the skill to do any work of the carver, the designer, the embroiderer, in blue, purple, crimson yarns, and fine linen, and of the weaver, as workers in all crafts, and as makers of design."
Thank you. So, that was a lot of text. A few questions. So first of all, who gives gifts for the making of the temple? Hmm?
Anyone who's moved to bring them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the text, actually, the word that's used is, let's see, nadiv lev. And nadiv means inclined or generous, so whoever's heart is inclined to do so. And who makes all of the things?
The skilled workers, the skilled crafts.
Yeah, right.
So they translate it as all you who are skilled. In the Hebrew, it's chacham lev. So chacham is someone who is wise. So a person who is wise of heart, which they translate to skilled, which is kind of an interesting choice. But it does seem a little bit broad in terms of who can do it. But then we get down to verse 30, and then there's very specific people who are singled out. So Bezalel and Aholiab. And Bezalel is the one, so this is going to go on for pages and pages. And I feel like we did the one chapter, and like that was plenty. But they're going to reiterate a lot of the stuff that was just covered and go into much more detail about it. And so Bezalel is the one who's going to make the ark specifically. The famous Ark of the Covenant. Yes?
Why is it so repetitive? I mean, really, I mean, it's like, yeah.
Well, they're giving like the specific measurements and everything as it goes forward. I mean, this is, for whatever reason, it seems like they wanted I guess they want maybe to recreate it if they had to by being this detailed.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems a little berserk when you read it, but.
Yeah, because they're going to get into like how many cubits in length or width. They're going to get into how many planks, and plank being 10 cubits and the width being a cubit and a half, and that there's two tenons parallel to each other, and the planks, you know, this many for the south side and this many
It takes the pla-
sockets.
Takes the place of having blueprint.
It's a blueprint.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not the details in the blueprint I'm talking about. It's that literally, instead of saying they all brought the crimson yarn, they went exactly through the exact same thing of what the request was, and then they went exactly going, yes, here is what they all brought, and it went exactly through that again.
Yeah, and it's actually, it's so, they say whoever's heart moves them, but then it's like, these are the things you're gonna accept. So it's like, this is the list of what we need for the construction. If your heart moves you, please bring things from this list. So it's kind of like your registry for a wedding or something, right? And then later, we didn't get to this part, but later the people, they bring so many gifts that finally they have to say, okay, enough, no more. So, which the idea that they're getting across is there are a lot of people that felt really generous in giving for this purpose. And they go into a lot of detail. If you believe, you know, the academic study of the Hebrew Bible is that there were multiple strands that were written by different sources, and then at some point in history they were kind of combined into one text. So the part that we're looking at here is the part that would be attributed to the priestly sect that was doing this writing during the period of the Babylonian exile. So one of the things that scholars talk about that's really fascinating is that they're writing all of this detail at a time where they have no land of their own, no temple anymore, like nothing. And so they're kind of like ad nauseum imagining all of the specific details. If you think about it, it's kind of a nostalgic longing for something that you don't have anymore. And when you experience a devastating loss, sometimes there can be a tendency to get obsessive about maybe what was lost and what you wish you had and those kinds of things. So on a certain level, it can be seen as kind of a trauma response. And on another level, scholars say that this priestly community, that they're trying to recreate something so that maybe it can be built in the future. And the tabernacle, you know, there's differences between the tabernacle and the temple, but the tabernacle is kind of like a more basic blueprint of what will become the temple. So, yeah, they're doing a little reconstructive history in a time when they've lost everything. It's like, I think about, so for example, I don't know if you remember, like 12, 13, 14 years ago, I had that fire in my apartment building, and like there's this urge to like go back for a long time and just remember exactly how everything was, you know, and all the things that are gone, all the books that I had and how they were arranged on the shelves and all the little, you know. So, you know, I think it's just something that people do when they experience a loss. Anyone who's maybe had a tornado or a hurricane or lost everything in a flood, I imagine there's similar kinds of things. People want to recreate what they had. But yes, so there's all the people whose hearts move them, and that's brought up over and over again in the section that we read. And they specify men and women, which is not a typical thing throughout the Torah. Oftentimes throughout the Torah, there's just the generic male grammatical forms are used, whether masculine or plural. And rabbis will say, well, it's meant to be inclusive of everyone. But then sometimes the rabbis will say, well, here it's meant to be exclusive. It's only the men. And so it's kind of like whatever they want it to be, they'll find a way to justify it. But here it's explicitly both men and women. But there does seem to be a difference in the types of skilled work that are done between the different groups. seem to be more about spinning and, doing things with yarn, and the men seems to be more the things with the, like, working with the metals and gems and things like that. So it definitely reflects maybe a societal stratification between genders and what different people do. If we were to do something like this today, it might look a little bit different. It would look a lot different. we wouldn't do something like this. Anyway, but then the people who are skilled, I love that use of the language, like those who are wise of heart. That there's something about skill that involves wisdom. It's knowing, like having the wisdom to know what's appropriate for a particular setting. So I think that's another piece.
I'm wondering if they left out the consequences of not volunteering. Maybe at one time that wiseness of heart was also wiseness of brain to avoid being something, punished for not being part of, not joining the collective effort.
Yeah. And this and like the prior Torah portion, they follow on the story of the golden calf, where all the people came together and they pooled all of their jewelry and things to make this golden calf. So it was this communal effort to make something that they could worship. And so some commentators say that it's a response to that. It was like, okay, you as a people have this urge to create beautiful things in the service of worship, so let's channel that and channel it toward Adonai instead of toward a golden calf. So that's another interpretation that some commentators make. So one interesting thing I came across in reading some of the commentaries and things that I found, if we were to go through the Torah portion, and people do this, and they'll measure out, and there's even like Holy Land theme parks that you can go to where they have a tabernacle that they've built to the measurements. So if you look at the measurements of all the things that are given in this chapter, the Holy of Holies is the space that's going to hold the Ark of the Covenant, and it's the space that not anyone can go into at will. The high priest goes in on Yom Kippur, basically, and could drop dead. So the high priest has pomegranate bells along the robe, so people will be able to hear if he's moving around in there, and like pull him out if he stops moving, like maybe he got struck down. But the Holy of Holies is measured 20 cubits by 20 cubits. And so for now, we don't need to worry about what a cubit is. Let's just pretend it's yards or something. So if you look at the measurements for the ark, there's no way that the ark should be able to fit in the space. Yeah. So let's see. The ark, when they measure from the edge of the ark to the northern wall of the room, there's 10 cubits. And when they measure from the other edge of the ark to the southern wall, it would measure 10 cubits, which means this edge to the wall is 10, and this edge to the wall is 10, but that's 20, and that means there's nothing for the actual ark itself. And so contemporary interpreters say that maybe it's an interdimensional or extra-dimensional space. So if you think about, some of them were even looking at like quantum mechanics and whether things can exist in two places at once. So they're trying to like understand it in a scientific sense. But,
Dr. Whoing it.
Exactly.
What if it's on a diagonal? What if it went in on a diagonal?
I think it's still problematic. So here's another text. Okay, so the Gemara asks, and were there no more miracles in the temple? But didn't Rabbi Levi say that this matter is a tradition that we received from our ancestors? The place of the Ark of the Covenant is not included in the measurement of the Holy of Holies. Based on that measurement, the Ark should not have fit inside the hall. The Holy of Holies measured 20 cubits by 20 cubits, and a Baraita states that there were 10 cubits of space on either side of the ark. Therefore, it was only through a miracle that the ark fit in the Holy of Holies. And Rabbi said that Shmuel said it was through a miracle that the cherubs that Solomon placed in the Holy of Holies would stand. Their wingspan was 20 cubits, and since the length of the chamber was the same, there's also no room for the bodies of the cherubs. So it's a similar concept. So then the ark has the cherubs that are constructed onto the ends that are facing toward each other, and their wings kind of conceal the space. In the temple, there were cherubs, and I guess their wings were spread out. So they're expanding that not only to the tabernacle but also to the temple in the Holy of Holies. But either way you look at it, it's 20 cubits by 20 cubits. So whatever angle you put it in, there's not room for it. And so that was a fascinating idea. Did they have because they didn't have quantum mechanics and Doctor Who, in the time of the Torah, so they attribute it to a miracle. But who wrote this? And they didn't take that into account.
Yeah, with all that detail, you would think they would have planned ahead.
Yeah, you would think so. Let's see, where's the part with the ark?
Other than removing Raiders of the Lost Ark, is there an Ark of the Covenant that was found?
Never found. It was taken away.
By the Philistines or something?
Well, it was taken away by the Philistines and then reclaimed.
Proper, yeah.
But then in the destruction of the temple, it was one of the things that the temple was plundered by the Babylonians. So everything in the temple was plundered, and the ark never appeared. And so when the Persians send Jews back from the exile to rebuild the temple, they send them back. They still have a lot of the sacrificial utensils and things like that from the temple, and they send them back with those things, but the ark is never mentioned. So it seems to have disappeared, kind of like in the Ark of the Covenant, right? That, in the Ark of in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, they imagined that it was this kind of miraculous place that it was hidden, and that you had to solve the mystery to find it. But
What was actually in the Ark of the Covenant? Do they know?
so the Ark of the Covenant holds the tablets of the Ten Commandments, the broken pieces, the shards from the ones that were destroyed. It contains a container with the manna, and I believe it also has the staff. So when they're arguing about leadership, and you get the earth swallows up and opens up and swallows the people who are challenging their leadership, and they devise this test that every tribe is going to put their staff in with the ark, and whoever's blossoms, that's the one who's supposed to be the priest. And so the one that blossoms is the one, Aaron's staff. And so they say that that's also was put in the ark. But and who knows if it even existed, right? As a historical fact.
Or maybe it was just plundered by the Babylonians and then returned, or...
Yeah, although then where did it end up and why? Because then the Persians, took over the Babylonians, and
But
You know.
couldn't take it apart.
I mean, I guess they could have.
I mean,
They could have melted it down and used all the gold and everything for something else. Yeah. Although it's interesting that they kept all of these other things.
yeah.
Because those would have been worth something too. So, yeah, so it's a mystery. In chapter 37, we have Bezalel making the ark, and it's made out of acacia wood and then overlaid with pure gold. The cover is pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and a cubit half wide. So if you think about the measurements of the Holy of Holies, they're 20 by 20. The ark isn't huge, 2.5 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide. And then the cherubim are also there with their wings spread out, shielding the cover. So it is fascinating that somehow this didn't get considered. And as an aside, Betzalel means in the shadow of God. So it's interesting that his name, it kind of connects him to God, but it's in God's shadow instead of in God's light. So what's that about? And if we go back to what we were talking about earlier with the in Or Hadash, that new light that's going to shine, that often that's the imagery that's used is of light. So the idea that it's, Sale is usually like the valley of the shadow of death, and so what's up with Betzalel being in God's shadow? So, but it's fascinating, and so I love the Raiders of the Lost Ark interpretation. I really do. And the whole face melting, and I mean, it's really, I feel like it's really well done. But it is this mystery that has persisted, and there, it's a little bit of a tangent, but the Nazis were very much into finding things of power. So that idea that they could have been searching for something like that isn't too far afield, actually, because they were always looking for. They had there were some segments of them that had very, very unusual kind of mystical beliefs mixed in with their eugenics. So, but I guess the main thing, if there's any other comments about what we've just discussed, but I think the main thing, yeah.
I was just, I kept thinking about the choosing the gold and the copper and the specific things, and they're all things of value, beautiful things, all choosing these, because I'm thinking, and then in that time period, those offerings were big deals, you're giving your gold, it's not like nowadays jewelry is everywhere, but you bring your jewelry, you bring your stones and stuff.
Yeah, and even the dyed goods, dye was very valuable in ancient times in a way that it's not today.
There was a lot of things that they had for being poor slaves in Egypt.
Well, the story is that they took all that out of Egypt, that supposedly the Egyptians gave them all their valuable things to take with them. Or they looted it as they were leaving, it's a little bit iffy, but.
Why would they give it to them?
Because they were getting they were getting all these plagues, so
They're like, please leave.
get out.
Which is a
Get out.
Please leave and take all this with
Because
you.
they had the power of God behind them.
Yeah, and it said that God predisposed them to give these things to the Hebrews.
Well, wasn't God killing their firstborn? Or,
Yeah, but,
yeah,
yeah, so,
so clouded. My brain is so clouded with the Charlton Heston's Ten Commandments.
there's a lot of midrash that makes it into that. Things that aren't actually in the Torah, but they're in the midrash, and they get put into that movie as if they were part of the real thing. But, I think the pieces to take out of this, a lot of this isn't relevant to us today, but the generosity of heart that what you are moved to give, please give, both, here in the temple, but also in our lives into the world, right? To watch for that generosity of spirit and where it's directed, and the wisdom of heart, which I think is the thing that helps to guide us in how to direct our generosity. And I think those pieces of the Torah portion are still very relevant today. There's a lot of need in the world, and we can help meet some of those needs. So may we all be granted that wisdom, and in the meantime have a lot of really interesting stories to look forward to as we move toward Passover, and now I'm inspired to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. So. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. In terms of announcements, I don't think we have anything bigger than the upcoming Passover second night Seder on April 2nd.
Well, March 25th.
March 25th is
On
Adult
Zoom.
Education on Zoom.
Rabbi Julie's gonna do a thing on
Rosh Chodesh. Yep.
And sisterhood play
Sis-
night.
Sisterhood Play Night on the 22nd of March. And,
Oh, wow. That's when it got rescheduled to they're both in the same week.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, yep, Community Seder on the 2nd.
Did she reschedule the yoga yet?
No.
All right, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna jump to the Mourner's Cottage on page 451. So this Shabbat, we remember Abe Kaufman, grandfather of Phyllis Bush, Irving Epstein, father of Rhea Goldman, Jeff Goldberg, cousin of Marcia Rosen, Ida Gerson Castor, grandmother of Marcia Caldwell, and Rebecca Shemesh, mother of Marty Nissen. And we are in the first year for Rhoda Kessler, who is a former member. And other names?
Tracy Jaxier Cranis.
Is that someone that you want included every week for a while? You can
Yeah.
send me a message and give me the date of death, and that way I'll add it to my list of current.
Sister-in-law.
Yeah,
Sister-in-law.
yeah, but send it to me
Yeah,
in
yeah,
email, because,
And if you want it on the list.
yeah, and so send it to
Yeah.
Marcia as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Page 451. Yikadal, Vikadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma, Divra, Kiruteh, V'amlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye, B'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'izman Kariv, V'yimru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam, Olmei, Olmaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudashah, brithu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'miran v'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May all of their memories be for blessing. Please be seated. And thank you everyone who brought food for a little luncheon for after the service. We'll close with Ein Keloheinu on page 443. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Ata
warmer downstairs.
But you're wearing jackets.
Yeah, oh, really windy out.
Oh, it is.
We heard it.